sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello everyone, welcome and thanks for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We continue our look back at our 10 years of covering Section 5 sports, and we begin with the girls of Odyssey Soccer from November of 2011. Here's Bill Pucko.
They're the Monroe County League's small school soccer sensations. The Grease Odyssey girls own 5 sectional titles won over the last 8 seasons. The Leopards were the Class B state semifinalists last year. They're top seeds in the tournament draw again.
Everyone really comes out to the games and helps, and is really motivation to get to the top, especially being such a small school.
Dorr is the county's leading scorer with 18 goals, many of those set up by a running mate, Emily Tucker, who owns 18 assists.
I've had people tell me before that I'm good at reading the game, and I always make sure that I know where my players are so that then if I see someone making a run, I can get them the ball and hopefully they'll score.
Tucker is a large part of what makes this team really unique. As a 7th grader 4 years ago, she tore her ACL. Surgery and an excruciating rehab followed. She isn't alone in that regard. Not here.
I was slide tackle from behind in the state semifinals, and I broke my ankle. I did some ligament damage.
Well, 2 years ago I went for a ball and collapsed, and I got MCL and ACL surgery, and they redid my shin bone. So it was a 4-hour surgery.
It was the 7th game of the season, and we were playing against Leroy. I went up to go get a ball, but I accidentally left my foot out after I kicked it, and a girl came and hit it. So that's how I tore my ACL.
There are 5 in the Knee Reconstruction Club. All are back playing and thankful for the opportunity.
It definitely sucks. It makes you, when I was in the hospital for my back, it makes you feel like you're lucky because all my problems can be fixed, unlike other people's.
When you listen to all this, I mean, with all the girls and all the dedication, the injuries and all the rest of that, it kind of got to make you appreciate how much it means to the girls that are under your charge now, doesn't it?
Yeah, these girls, I mean, they've battled for years. You heard all the different injuries they had, and they just come out and work hard every day. And I've seen them go through the injury and come back, and it's just rewarding to see them back out here.
Making the Monroe County League small school soccer sensation a bit of a medical marvel, too.
Sarah, Chuck.
Odyssey had a semifinal game to play against Livonia. The championship games are Saturday.
The Leopards would fall in the state finals in 2011 to undefeated Chalmont, but got the revenge when they ended Chalmont's 45-game win streak in the state semifinals in 2012. Coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the High School Notebook. We've got that and more when the High School Sports Beat continues. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It's time now for the High School Notebook, and that, of course, means it is time for Matt Trabold to join us. Matt, thank you so much for hopping on board.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Of course, always, sir. And it's time to hand out some bricks around here. One of those things that, every time we come to the end of a season and titles are awarded, it seems like we didn't think we were going to get here. We did it again. Talking basketball this time. Let's start off with boys AA.
And especially this season, on top of what you just said, Dave, it is hard to ask for a better matchup in a title game in the highest classification than what you got with the one I'm about to talk about. You had a couple recent heavy hitters in the sport that have put together some good records over the past few years in boys hoops around here. The top 2 seeds in the bracket, with Victor hosting Gates Chili, especially with how schedules were put together this regular season in this pandemic school year. The Blue Devils and Spartans played multiple times in the regular season. That would not usually happen. Gates won the first battle by a couple possessions, and Victor got revenge March 4th by double digits on top of it. A rubber match in the ship only added to the narrative. The Spartans' top option, talked about it before, Adam Williams, scored 16 in the first 2 quarters as the 2 seed was up 10 at the break. Then, led by clutch second half consistency and a combined 58 points from the front line of Phil Ungwo, Connor Williams, CJ James. That's a lot of points, even with those guys being big-time performers over the past couple seasons. So Victor stormed back. Adam Williams sent it to OT with a layup with 3 seconds left. Fellow senior Devin Payton was the main man in OT, including icing it with 21 ticks left. In the extra session, with a hand right in his face, Devin released the shot further back than usual and got a shooter's bounce. First title for the Gates program since 2009. Also want to mention Andrew Newcomb is such a good passer, one of the top passers, even though he's a front court player in Section 5.
All right, going over now to the girls' side of things, and let's talk about the AA girls action.
For the 3rd year in a row, the Class AA girls basketball sectional final was Bishop Kearney against Penfield. Before even discussing the final result, this matchup was different in a couple major ways from those 2 other games. First off, Penfield was only a 6 seed this time around, which is lower than they usually have, especially under Mark Vogt. That's a very storied program. A big reason for that was the Patriots playing the top dog in Class A, Pittsford Mendon, multiple times for the first season in a number of years. Like I was talking about with the boys game, that doesn't usually happen, but just the interesting scheduling for this COVID-19 season. Also, Kearney was still without elite national recruit and Seton Hall commit Sanaya Wilson. BK still had a ton of other talent, including 2 more D1 commits. Penfield led for much of the game, including by 9, with under 6 to go after an Emma Blumenstock 3. Elisa Ficlara starred on both ends in this one, and Haley Emick had a double-double with 17 boards for the Pats. Kevin Shepard's team came back late in the 4th quarter. There was a 5-0 run in just 16 seconds by Mariana Freeman and Kaya Good. Then Chicago State commit Taylor Norris. Great post move to tie it. In the end, though, Eva Elliott and Emick solidified the win at the Charity Stripe for the upset.
Let's go back to boys now. Let's talk about a crown that's going to Pittsford.
Last week, we talked about the Pittsford Mendon girls basketball team, who did end up winning their 5th sectional title in a row this past week for Todd Julian and company. Now we are talking about the 2021 title team for the Vikings boys hoops program. Bob Nally's group completed an undefeated 2021 season by holding off Keenan Robertson, Rowan McGuinn, and Rhonda Coit 57-52. Before that game, the Vikings had only one other win within 15 points this year before that title tilt, which was a 9-point win versus Honey Falls Lima back in mid-February. This season, Jackson Green seamlessly made the move from star freshman to star sophomore. Luke Koiser could be the top role expansion this year from last season in all of Section 5. That's definitely a possibility there. He needs props. 6'4" Kidder Lindley would start from any large school Section 5 teams. Really shows the depth, so much depth.
Matt, as always, thanks for joining us. Great stuff, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, we're back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, this week's Making the Grade nominee, and later on, it's a football matchup with Pittsford and Rush Henrietta from the Class AA Finals when the High School Sports Beat returns. Welcome back, and thank you for watching the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. Making the grade this week is Greece Odyssey's Denver Kelly. A senior with the Leopards tennis team, Denver has played at the varsity level for 6 seasons, and this year made it the Section 5 tournament with doubles partner Colleen Maniaci. Off the court, Denver is the backstage manager for the Odyssey Theater Department and also enjoys babysitting. Denver carries a 97 average and plans to major in psychology in the fall. For being a team leader on the tennis court and a model student at Greece Odyssey, this week Denver Kelly is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them in to mtg@rocksportsnow.com. And now here's some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in our Section 5 Spotlight. Congrats to Rush Henrietta and Coach Mickey Marlowe for claiming the Class A title in Section 5 wrestling. Spencerport took the brick home in Class A2. Anthony Noto may have graduated, but there's still 2 Notos with Section 5 titles at HFL. Christopher and Nicholas continued the winning tradition as part of the Cougars' excellent season. Former Newark Red Ben Coles is off to a hot start with Maryland baseball. Ben is hitting .375 with 6 homers in the first 8 games of his junior season. Ben had 6 total homers in his first 2 years with the Terrapins. Up next, a battle for the brick at Rhino Stadium. We've got that when the high school sports beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back and thanks for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We flash back now to November of 2011 and the football Class AA finals between 2 familiar rivals. Here's Bill Pucko.
Over the past 2 years, the only Section 5 losses inflicted on either came at the hands of the other. Pittsford versus Rush Henrietta has become the top high school football rivalry in the region. Pittsford earned the top seed in Class AA by ending the Comets' 17-game winning streak in October. That only succeeded in making Rush Henrietta a bit hungrier for the rematch. RH received the opening kickoff, and the Comets' speed on the Salem's turf became immediately evident. Tim Johnson cutting clear across the field on his way to a 45-yard return. The first drive start came from midfield. 3rd and 8, quarterback Chauncey Sissom improvises a bit and finds the far sideline for a 49-yard touchdown run for the game's first points.
You know, the first touchdown was always the biggest statement in the game. You know, we had to send the message that we weren't playing around. You know, after the first loss, we knew it was all business and we came to get the job done.
Without the ability to strike as quickly, Pittsford's first possession was far more patient, but equally as productive. On 3rd down, Grant Hyman passed 20 yards to Glenn Molinich. On 3rd and 8, Hyman to Dominic DeLucia on the screen. Good for 9 yards, one more than needed to keep the drive alive at the Comet 39. 3rd and 13 this time. Hyman kept it and picked up 15. And another first down. The 72-yard scoring drive was capped by a quick hitter through the line. Ben Kroll broke clear for the final 18 to tie the game 7-7. It took Rush Henrietta just a minute and a half to get that one back. On a drive start from the 25, Sissom passed to Chase Weichman for a first down. Then, as he had just 6 minutes earlier, Sissom found the outside left to his liking and went 45 yards for his second touchdown of the quarter. RH up 13-7. As the game moved into the second quarter, the teams continued to trade punches. Derek Peters lost a fumble along the far sideline. Pittsford's Mac Breederstein recovered at the Comets' 18. DeLucia brought it in from 8, and the Panthers had their first lead 14-13. With 5 minutes left of the half, a play that worked for Pittsford earlier, a 4th down pooch punt, backfired. The ball went right to Christian Harris, and he went 88 yards with it the other way. That put Rush Henrietta up 19-14.
He bombed it over my head the first time, so the second time, he pushed it right to me. It was an open lane right down the field. It was one man to beat, and I beat him to the end zone, took it to the house.
A spectacular half of offensive football continued with Pittsford at his own 33. DeLucia broke free for a 63-yard gain, finally run down by Babe Barley at the Comets' 4-yard line. That heroic defensive effort went for naught as DeLucia got the call again and scored to put Pittsford ahead again, 22-19. That touchdown coming just 37 seconds after the Harris punt return. The final possession of the half began for Rush Henrietta with less than a minute to go, but the Comets strike quick. Good for 42 yards to the Panthers' 23. Next play, Sism again for Weichman in the corner of the end zone. Great throw, great catch, great play. A great half ended with RH ahead 26-22.
This look. Alright? And they're playing the spur over this guy. Hyman, does that make sense to you? So you gotta make a call. Alright? Tacklers, you gotta make a call when you see this guy coming. Guard, you gotta see it. Instead of coming here, you're here. Alright, when we get to third down, we start to step up, make some coverage now, but they had an explosive play and a short field one time. So here's the deal. It's simple. Alright? We've had it easy for 8 out of the 10 weeks. Yes, this is the one team that punches us and tests us, okay? You gotta keep fighting. You gotta fight through the soreness. You gotta fight through the hurt a little bit because you're 24 minutes away. Let's go!
In the third quarter, still down 4 points, Pittsford began a drive from its own 3 and made something of it when Hyman found Molinich on a swing pass that picked up 24 yards to near midfield. 3 subsequent plays gained 4 yards, forcing a 4th and 6 decision. The gamble of the game, the Panthers go for it. The pass was incomplete.
We've always been a little gutsy with that all year. That is our punt pass option. We give Hyman that ability to find an open receiver, and if he feels he has it, he'll throw it. He has a punt option too, so it's not just going out there and throwing the ball. He thought he had it, and we've given him that ability, and we rely on him for that. And he's come up with probably 7 out of 10 of those plays this year. So, we like to live on the edge a little bit. That's what's made us successful, and we'll live with that.
It took RH one call to capitalize. Peters broke it 51 yards for the touchdown, putting the Comets up 11.
He's a rhythm kid, and the first half we just couldn't get him established in the run game, and then the second half there he got himself going, and then he gets going. He's just that kind of player.
Pittsford goes 3 and out. Rush gets the ball back at midfield and scores on another one-play drive. It was Harris again. His second touchdown was the play of the game.
It was supposed to be right up the middle, but the blockers on the inside, it was kind of weird, so I had to bounce it out. And then I seen a hole, so I slashed it right back to the right and then tried to beat the man to the pylon.
Those 2 scoring plays broke Pittsford's back. In the fourth quarter, Peters locked it up by scoring his second touchdown to make it 47-22 Comets. Pittsford played to the final gun and actually scored the game's last 2 touchdowns. Mike Palmieri caught a 37-yard pass from Hyman. Inconsequential points, perhaps, but character counts, and that's what the section's Player of the Year will remember about his last high school game.
The biggest thing hasn't been the numbers. It's just been getting the opportunity to be able to play with such great guys and have such high character on the team. It just means the world to me.
They're a great football team, one of the best in the state. And I'll tell you something, you're one of the best in the state too. No doubt about it. In 2 years, we have losses, they have a loss, and it's only to each other. That's something special.
47-35 was the final. Rush Henrietta winning back-to-back Section 5 football crowns for the first time ever. The first time Class AA has produced a repeat champ in 6 seasons. Harris was the game's MVP.
It feels so good, man. Our school has never done it 2 years in a row, and so to come back-to-back and win the championship game, it feels real good. It's my senior year, and knowing that I'm leaving with a championship is a righteous feeling.
I feel great because of this group of kids. They deserve it. They worked hard, and congratulate Pittsford on a great season. They have a great team and a great opponent.
We'd like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5. If you've got a story you'd like to share with us, let us know. Send an email to rocksportsnow@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Be safe. We'll see you next week for more of the High School Sports Beat.